Good afternoon. So the question is, at what age in the human mind does memory begin or start to decline, and what should you do about it? Doctor, what do you think about that?
Well, it's an interesting situation because at what age do you begin to lose muscle mass? It is no different in the brain, the use of the brain, than it is for exercise and building of muscle in the body or maintaining muscle. If you never do anything with your brain loses its ability to do whatever it is you need to do. People who will say in high school, I've read enough books, I hate books, I don't like reading. Okay, well, fine. Well, what are you going to do to exercise the mind? Nothing. It doesn't. If you don't do something, the brain atrophies with its capabilities the same as muscles or anything else. So try having an opera singer who doesn't practice. The same thing. The throat isn't going to give that person the ability to sing when they need to. So I'll give you an example of how radical this could actually be. I had an aunt, a great aunt. This woman lived to 102. She would have lived longer if she'd stayed out of a nursing home where they doped her to the point she didn't know where she was at. She drove herself to a nursing home at 100 because she's tired of mowing grass. She didn't have a self-propelled lawnmower. She had a gas-powered lawnmower, but she had to push it. And she had a quarter of an acre in town. And amazing, healthy, amazing individual. She would still walk at 102 miles a day. Perfectly capable of doing so. Also, in her living room was a large card table. It was extra large. And she would work a 500-piece puzzle every single week. It had to be done. She was started on a Sunday, and it had to be done by Friday. Took a day off. But she would work that puzzle until it was done. Every week for as long as I knew that she lived. She lived 40-something years in that house in Fredericksburg, Texas. Now, she'd already been married many, many years, and her husband had passed away because she was married at 15 to a guy who was 35, so he passed away many years before. So we had this lady who also realized that I need to stay sharp. So she read 2 newspapers, dailies, every day, front to back. Then she would sit down and she would write out 4 math problems. One subtraction, addition, multiplication, and a couple of other things. If she could think about it, she would do a little bit of algebra or something like that. And this was every day. So when I went to see her in the nursing home, this is one of the times when I just about got thrown out of the place because I walked in and here was a lady who was staring at the wall. And she looked at me and she did recognize me and she says, called me by my name and says, what are those things there on the wall? They keep moving. What are those things? She was hallucinating. And I said, where are your newspapers? I just can't concentrate on that. I just can't. I can't concentrate. This woman could sit down and discuss the Palestinian situation, trade agreements, price of rice in China, if you will. She knew all of it. So I went to the front desk and I asked, why is Aunt Edna hallucinating at the wall? She said, well, we had to give her quite a bit because she's a busybody. She would just go up and down the hall bothering people. I said, she loves people. She wants to talk. Yeah, she wants to talk about stuff nobody cares about. They were intimidated. They couldn't have a discussion about anything that she knew. Nothing. So they had the authority of a grandson who she had accidentally, trusting this individual, put him in charge of signing a power of attorney. And he said, yeah, whatever y'all want to do with her, that's fine. He wanted the ranch. Well, he eventually got it. And she eventually got the graveyard. And that's how the system worked. But I saw somebody with faculties that I pray to God that I have when I'm 85, much less 102. The faculties that she had mentally, the capabilities she had were so extremely extraordinary. And she lived out of her own garden. She didn't go to the store to buy vegetables. And she had a farm where somebody would prepare the beef or whatever it was they had, chickens and the beef or whatever. There was virtually very, very little that she would buy at the store. So her health was incredible. And who at 100 walks 2 miles a day? This woman had an 8-to-5 job, 6 days a week, until she was 95.
Wow.
Who does that?
Not many people, that's for
No.
sure.
And the funny thing about that, only reason she didn't continue working was the place went bankrupt. And so her kids, her grandkids said, Granny, you need to go and apply for unemployment, which I would have done anything to be in the unemployment office when she pulls out her Social Security card and her birth certificate and all the stuff she needed to apply, and it said 1902.
Good Lord.
And these people said, this is a joke, right? And she said, I work for them. They gave it to her. So I can tell you the brain is astounding. It's a mental muscle that you have to exercise. And if you don't exercise it, you become, how would we say, dim-witted, maybe, but you are going to lose some factors in your ability to properly discern things that are going on. You may have early dementia. You may end up with Alzheimer's. Who knows? We don't know really what triggers those things. But we do know that people who have no exercise of the mind do suffer early dementia fairly often. So I certainly am not going to go down that road if I can help it. Now I've got 16 years of experience in anti-aging and supplementation and things like that. But just advice for you is that do something that challenges your mind. Even if you were to sit down and do some math problems and get them wrong, you're struggling to go ahead and get them right. Maybe next time you'll get them right, or you'll remember something about how to do it. Read. Don't ever stop reading. It's so important to keep the juices flowing in the brain. And one of the questions somebody asked me the other day is, where are memories stored? You know what? We don't know. We really don't know where they're stored. So exercise all the different parts of the brain. If you are introduced to somebody, think about their name so that you can repeat it back to them when you say, well, Bob, it was nice meeting you. Or, Betty, it was great seeing you. Thank you. Pleasure. I'll see you again. So those are things that I think are extremely important. All I know is from what I've learned and from what I've seen around people who are extremely successful with their mind. And I want that.
Yeah, me too. I want that as well. So it sounds like if you work it, it's going to work for you, so to speak.
If you don't work it, it isn't going to work for you. So, yes, that is absolutely true. Until next time, this is Jerry.
And David.
And we are absolutely delighted to be able to come to you and talk about these subjects because It's something that affects you personally. It's something that you can actually do to improve life. And just think about what it would be like to be 95 years old at some point in the future, many years from now for you. And you're able to remember all these wonderful things. Your quality of life is just going to be amazing. And it's a funny thing about the brain. The brain controls all of the other functions of the body. So if the brain starts failing, who knows if some of those functions in the body are short-circuited and taken out because the programming in the brain has failed. So as we said, until next time, be well.
Be well.